Hey everyone, it's Holly from HollyHall.com. This one's going to be a bit different. I'm going to talk about love, commitment, relationships, and spiritual growth. Yeah, we have our spiritual growth through our relationships, and I've had some people ask me, "Oh, how come you did a whole course on finding love?" Which is going to be on my new website, HollyHall.com. And it made me question. It was an honest question from them. It wasn't a critical question like, what do you know about love, Holly? It was more like, oh, what's your story? But I did take it critical, my own personal self, critical. I didn't take it from them, critical myself. I questioned myself, well, who are you to talk about love and unconditional love and spiritual love? And I gave myself the answer that I would give and have given most of my clients. Specifically, when we go down the path of imposter syndrome. Who are you to tell people how to do this when you aren't perfect at it yet? So here we go. Perfection is overrated. There is no such thing as perfection. As the universe continues to expand, never ending, never stopping, so do we. And there is never a finish line. We're never going to get there because there isn't one. And how boring would that be? It would be done, finished. That's it. Go home. Home? Where's home? This was home. Learning, growing. This was my home. And I always tell my clients, there's two places where we can learn unconditional love. Painfully, unforgettably, unapologetically. And that is in a long-term relationship, any kind. Mom, dad, friendship, and specifically intimate, and our children, if you have children. So one, you're guaranteed to be born to parents, whether they're there or not. You have that relationship just by birthright. The other two you can avoid. I didn't. I was determined by the age of 13, when my parents divorced, that's okay. One day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to have that relationship. I'm going to have my family, and they're going to have a family, and we're going to have a family, and I am going to rekindle what I had lost when my parents had separated, which was an extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles. And so I went on that road. I met somebody at the age of 14, and I thought that he was my forever guy. He said I was his forever girl until college. He went his way and I went my way. He went to college and I went to work. So we were still together. We actually moved quite a ways away, 5 hours away, to a city you might heard of, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So that was a 5-hour drive from where we lived. And I lived in one place and he lived in another while he was going to college. And then the relationship just dwindled. I wasn't excited about it anymore. I wasn't happy anymore. And I let him know that. And he threatened to quit school because he wouldn't be able to do it without me. And I was like, wait, but you are doing it without me. That's why I'm splitting up with you, because we don't spend any time together. You're too busy with all your friends at school and stuff happening at school, and I'm not invited. But anyways, I felt bad. I stayed through that burnout period, helped him through school, did a lot of his homework, etc. And then I had left again, and he was a mess. But only to find out that all this time he was cheating on me. I also learned that he wanted to be with me long term. He just kind of wanted to sow his oats before he made that commitment. Anyways, I dodged a bullet there, so it's all good. And then I proceeded to have another 5-year relationship with a pilot, built a house, didn't get married, but we did get engaged. We bought property. We started building a house, and I wasn't happy with the way he was treating me either. I never found out about my cheating exes until after the fact. So we finally split up. I say finally because it was an off and on forever. And then I found out, all this time he was cheating on me, which came with a few little gifts, if you know what I mean, for me. Thank you very much for those gifts of little physical things. And then I met another long-term relationship in which I got married. And I orchestrated that one. I kind of feel bad for the guy because he wasn't that crazy about me. He's still in love with his ex, who was a crazy girl. His whole family just loved me because I wasn't a crazy girl. And I loved his family. I mean, they were from Newfoundland. They partied, they danced, music, which is what I grew up with. And I really enjoyed that family. We bought a house. His father lived in the basement. And then we couldn't have children. And we tried, and we tried, and we couldn't have children. He tried reluctantly. And, of course, everybody thought it would be him because he liked to smoke his pot. But it was me. Thanks to one of the gifts that I had from the ex, I had cervical cancer, and I found out years later that that's what it was the cause of. It was not well documented for the medical industry at the time to know that's what cervical cancer was. And the treatments, the laser treatments, caused an enormous amount of scar tissue, which was why I couldn't have children. So I wasn't only through medical intervention. Well, he wasn't really eager to do that. I wasn't going to force him. So fight after fight, I decided this relationship is over. Then I quickly hooked up with a friend that I had known through work, through my work, not where I worked, but through my work. I was a hairdresser at the time, and he was a client. And I knew his family, and I knew his sister and his mom and his dad, and he had a girlfriend, not then, but prior to it, and I knew them here as well. And he was a really nice guy, was always helpful. Hey, you're moving, can I help you? My buddies can come and help, and stuff like that. And anyways, he wasn't my type, but I just thought he was a really nice guy, trying to help out and everything, and we hooked up. And I went to my doctor and said, my OB, and said, guess what, better go back on the birth control pill because this is happening. And he goes, you are the birth control pill. I'm like, all right, you can't get pregnant. Okay. So I had to tell him that. Of course, you don't enter into a brand new relationship without them knowing that, by the way, the girl that you're hooking up with, if we ever get long term, I can't have children this way. So he's like, hey, no problem. I'll go with you. At the time, this is what I think is asinine in this day and age. At the time, I could not go to downtown Toronto to seek out medical intervention to have my own baby by myself. I had to have a partner. Whatever. So he went with me, and I understood all of the procedures, and we were like, let's just wait a year, see how the relationship progresses, etc. Well, 5 months later, I was pregnant at the age of 35. Barely. So I was high-risk pregnancy, had this beautiful baby, and we were engaged to be married. And I'm 10 months into, she was 10 months old. We were engaged. We got married May 13th. And 6 weeks later, he said, I'm not happy anymore. And that was the end of that. No reason, no fighting, no arguing, nothing. Just, I'm not happy anymore. Anyways, later on, found out he was cheating as well, because everybody at his work just thought they never saw this romantic side to him, because he was like very romantic. I mean, you want to read a Harlequin's romance and get every romantic gig, he did it. I mean, even his friends were going, take a step back, dude. You're making us all look bad. So, and I kind of, and he had a big family, and I loved all that too. And his mom had passed away, but his dad and his sister, thought that was great. So anyways, I was a single mom, devastated, total mental, emotional, physical, psychological, spiritual breakdown. No family. I had a new friend who was very helpful later on, not right away. I had an amazing babysitter. She was basically like my everything, who took care of my little girl while I worked. Worked hard and worked a lot, not in hairdressing anymore. That wasn't going to keep me off welfare. I ended up working for the post office. And that sounds really fun. But when you have Canada winters and Canada falls and Canada rain and Canada cold and Canada sleet, it's not fun at all. Not the job I thought it was, but it paid well and kept me from welfare. 4 years later, I finally meet the man I'm with now to this day, and it's been over 15 years, and I picked him with my brain. I thought, you know what, you don't have a track record, Holly, for picking guys that you think will fit the fairy tale story that I told myself when I was 13. I just need somebody to play the part. That's what I told myself. Subconsciously, not consciously. And so this guy fit. There was one thing I didn't really want as a part of it, because he was divorced with children. I wanted someone without a child, but that's okay. It all worked out too. And I was broken at that point. I had disassociation. I was broken. My heart was cold. I was caring, understanding, compassionate, logically, rationally. I knew how to do all that, but my heart was closed up. I had continued issues and other family stuff, and just to make that is a long story. It's a 12-minute story now. I discovered what Spirit told me, that this is not love. Everything that you've been reaching for, everything that you've been searching for is not love. That's not love. What's love is the way this man is treating you now, and you can't accept it, and you can't love back because you're broken. And so I was determined from then on that I would maintain the relationship, and I would learn unconditional love. And through that, through my astrology, my meditations, and talking to Spirit, and my books and reading and learning and podcasts, I know what it is. I'm not embodying it 100%. Through Buddhism and spirituality, specifically Buddhism, non-attachment to desire, this is my quest to get to a place where I find romantic, emotional, spiritual, unconditionally loving bliss. And I've had moments of it, so I know what it feels like, without the attachment to someone providing it for me, something providing it for me, some experience that will provide it for me, to only feel this way all the time. Will it happen in this lifetime? I'm not sure. But I know it will by the next one, because I'm going to build the foundation in this lifetime now. And it has given me a lot of heartaches, a lot of tears, a lot of frustration, a ton of irritability and detachment. Ooh, lots of detachment. But it has also given me freedom, liberation, hope, trust, faith, because I know it exists. I know that I can fall in love with a blade of grass. I can fall in love with the blue sky. I can fall in love with a waterfall. I can fall in love with a kitty cat. or a dog or a stranger or an enemy or my husband and my child and myself. I know I can do that. It just is. It will be. And so I have learned a lot throughout the years, and it's very, how I compare the imposter syndrome to people is, let's say you're a doctor, you're a naturopath, you're a nutritionist, you're a therapist, you're a teacher. You've taught yourself, and you know, and you've experienced what it's like to be the best teacher, the best naturopath, the best therapist, and the best doctor. But you're not perfect. The therapist still has problems. The therapist still needs a therapist. The doctor still needs a doctor. The naturopath needs a naturopath. The coach needs a coach. Because we are not perfect. But we are here to serve. And we are here to serve those who gravitate towards us and can benefit from the knowledge that we have to share and or the experience that we have to share. And so that is what I'm doing with my course in Finding Love. I've had to find love for people who stopped loving me, including my mother, for people, including my sister, including a brother, including some relatives, including best friends along the way, and in letting them go unconditionally, which that I am good at. I have very little anger. I have no anger, actually, or hatred or resentment for anyone who has left me in my life. Exes, friends, mother, father, sister, brother. I have complete understanding for why they did what they did, for who they are, with love and compassion. I would say 95%, because there's a 5% of me that does not have that pure, unconditional love for myself, as I have days that I feel I am unworthy of it, or I am afraid of completely letting someone have my heart. And I have days where I still need practice. It's an exercise. And that's what my course in Finding Love, it's an exercise. It's to teach you that this is an exercise. Everyday practice. I always say to people, it's like brushing your teeth or going to the gym or eating well. You know, you're not just going to brush your teeth for a week and go, oh, there we go. I did it. I never have to brush my teeth again. Oh, I went to the gym. I lost the weight. I never have to do this again. I never have to eat healthy or exercise again. It's the same thing. A spiritual practice is exactly the same. It has to be a part of your routine, your daily practice. And probably the number one rule that I would pass on before I close off is, two rules, is know thyself by always asking questions. Asking yourself why. Why? Why do I feel this way? Why am I thinking this way? Why can I not change this? Why am I not changing it? Why am I good? Why do I want to be better? Namaste.